Leeds United Football Club is an English football club in Leeds, West Yorkshire. The club was formed in 1919 following the disbanding of Leeds City F.C. by the Football League and took over their Elland Road stadium. Leeds United have won 3 First Division League titles, 1 FA Cup and 1 League Cup. The club also won 2 Inter-Cities Fairs Cups. The majority of the honours were won under the management of Don Revie in the 1960s and 1970s. Leeds United play in white. The club badge features the white rose of York and LUFC. History summary. Pre-Leeds United, Leeds United's predecessor team, Leeds City F.C., was formed in 1904, and were elected league members in 1905. At first they found it hard to draw big crowds to Elland Road, but their fortunes improved following Herbert Chapman's arrival. In 1914 Chapman declared, "This city is built to support top-flight football," but Leeds City were forcibly disbanded and forced to sell off all their players by the Football League in 1919 in response to allegations of illegal payments to players during the First World War. In 1919, Leeds United was formed and they received an invitation to enter the Midland League. Leeds United were voted into the Midland League on October 31, 1919, taking the place vacated by Leeds City reserves. Following Leeds City's disbanding, Yorkshire Amateurs bought their stadium Elland Road. Yorkshire Amateurs offered to make way for the new team under the management of former player Dick Ray. The chairman of Huddersfield Town, Hilton Crowther, loaned Leeds United £35,000, to be repaid when Leeds United won promotion to Division 1. He brought in Barnsley's manager Arthur Fairclough, and on February 26, 1920, Dick Ray stepped down to become Fairclough's assistant. 1920 Euro 1960, early years. On May 31, 1920, Leeds United were elected to the Football League. Over the following few years, they consolidated their position in the Second Division and in 1924 won the title and with it promotion to the First Division. They failed to establish themselves and were relegated in 1926 Euro 27. After being relegated, Fairclough resigned, which paved the way for Ray to return as manager. In the years up until the start of World War II, Leeds were twice relegated, both times being instantly re-promoted the following season. On March 5, 1935, Ray resigned and he was replaced by Billy Hampson, who remained in charge for 12 years. In the 1946 Euro 47 season after the war, Leeds were relegated again with the worst league record in their history. After this season, Hampson resigned and was replaced in April 1947 by Willis Edwards. In 1948, Sam Bolton replaced Ernest Pullen as the chairman of Leeds United. Edwards was moved to assistant manager in April 1948 after just 1 year as manager. He was replaced by Major Frank Buckley. Leeds remained in the Second Division until 1955 Euro 56, when they once again won promotion to the First Division, inspired by John Charles. Charles was hungry for success at the highest level, and manager Ray Cutter was unable to convince him that Leeds could satisfy his ambitions. Charles was sold to Juventus for a then-world record of £65,000. The loss of Charles resulted in Leeds being relegated to the Second Division in the 1959 Euro 60 season. 1961 Euro 1975, Don Revie era. In March 1961, the club appointed former player Don Revie as manager, following the resignation of Jack Taylor. His stewardship began in adverse circumstances. The club was in financial difficulty and in 1961 Euro 62 only a win in the final game of the season saved the club from relegation to Division 3. Revie implemented a youth policy and a change of kit colour to an all-white strip in the style of Real Madrid, and Leeds soon won promotion to the First Division in 1963 Euro 64. In his 13 years in charge, Revie guided Leeds to 2 Football League First Division titles, 1 FA Cup, 1 League Cup, 2 Inter-Cities Fairs Cups, 1 Football League Second Division title and 1 Charity Shield. He also guided them to 3 more FA Cup finals, 2 more FA Cup semi-finals, 1 more Inter-Cities Fairs Cup final and 1 Inter-Cities Fairs Cup semi-final, 1 European Cup Winners' Cup final and 1 European Cup semi-final. The team also finished second in the Football League First Division 5 times, third once and fourth twice. In a survey of leading football writers, historians and academics by Total Sport magazine, Revie's Leeds United were voted as one of the 50 greatest football teams of all time. 1975 Euro 1988, Clough, Armfield, Stein, Adamson, Clark, Gray and Brumner. Following the 1973 Euro 74 season, Revie left Leeds and Elland Road in 1974, to manage the England national team. Brian Clough was appointed as Revie's successor. This was a surprise appointment, as Clough had been an outspoken critic of Revie and the team's tactics. Clough's tenure as manager started badly with defeat in the Charity Shield match against Liverpool, in which Billy Bremner and Kevin Keegan were both sent off for fighting. Under Clough, the team performed poorly, and after only 44 days he was dismissed. Clough was replaced by former England captain Jimmy Armfield. Armfield took Revie's ageing team to the final of the 1974 Euro 75 European Cup, where they were defeated by Bayern Munich under controversial circumstances. Assisted by coach Don Howe, Armfield rebuilt Revie's team, and though it no longer dominated English football, it remained in the top 10 for subsequent seasons. However, the board became impatient for success and dismissed Armfield, replacing him with Jock Stein, who also lasted just 44 days before leaving to manage Scotland. The board appointed Jimmy Adamson, but he was unable to stop the decline, and in 1980 Adamson resigned and was replaced by former player Alan Clark. Despite spending freely on players, he was unable to stem the tide and the club was relegated at the end of 1981 Euro 82. Clark was replaced by former teammate Eddie Gray. With no money to spend on team building, Gray concentrated on youth development, but was unable to guide them to promotion from the second division. The board again became impatient and sacked Gray in 1985, replacing him with another Revie teammate, Billy Bremner. Bremner found it just as difficult to achieve promotion, although Leeds reached a 1987 playoff final, but were defeated by Charlton Athletic. Leeds also endured a near miss in the FA Cup, losing out to Coventry City in the semi-finals. 1988 to Euro 1996, Howard Wilkinson era. In October 1988, with the team 21st in the second division, Bremner was fired to make way for Howard Wilkinson, who oversaw their promotion back to the first division in 1989 Euro 90. Under Wilkinson, Leeds finished fourth in 1990 Euro 91, and in 1991 Euro 92 season Leeds won the title. However, the 1992 Euro 93 season saw Leeds exiting the Champions League in the early stages, and eventually finishing 17th in the league, narrowly avoiding relegation. Wilkinson's Leeds were unable to provide any consistent challenge for honours, and his position was not helped by a poor display in the 1996 League Cup final, which Leeds lost to Aston Villa. Leeds could only finish 13th in 1995 Euro 96, and after a 4-0 home defeat by Manchester United early in 1996 Euro 97, Wilkinson had his contract terminated. One of the legacies of Wilkinson and youth coach Paul Hart was the development of Leeds United's youth academy, and as a result, the academy has produced numerous talented footballers over the years. 1997 Euro 2001, Graham and O'Leary. Leeds appointed George Graham as Wilkinson's successor. This appointment was controversial as Graham had previously received a one-year ban from the Football Association for receiving illegal payments from a football agent. Graham made some astute purchases and also helped blood youngsters from Leeds' successful Youth Cup winning side, and by the end of the 1997 Euro 98 season Leeds had qualified for the following season's UEFA Cup. In October 1998, Graham left to become manager of Tottenham Hotspur, and Leeds opted to replace him with assistant manager David O'Leary. Under O'Leary and assistant Eddie Gray, Leeds never finished outside the top 5 in the Premier League, and secured qualification for both the UEFA Cup and the UEFA Champions League, enjoying cup runs to the semi-finals of both competitions. However, during the same period, the team's image was tarnished when players Jonathan Woodgate and Lebo Wire were involved in an incident, which left an Asian student in hospital with severe injuries. the resulting court case took nearly 2 years to resolve. Bowyer was cleared, and Woodgate convicted of affray and sentenced to community service. Additionally, in the UEFA Cup semi-final against Galatasaray in Istanbul, 2 Leeds fans were stabbed to death before the game. 2001 Euro 2007, financial implosion and relegation. Under chairman Peter Ridsdale, Leeds had taken out large loans against the prospect of the share of the TV rights and sponsorship revenues from UEFA Champions League qualification and subsequent progress in the competition. However, Leeds narrowly failed to qualify for the Champions League in 2 successive seasons, and as a consequence did not receive enough income to repay the loans. The first indication that the club was in financial trouble was the sale of Rio Ferdinand to Manchester United for approximately £30 a million. Ridsdale and O'Leary publicly fell out over the sale, and O'Leary was sacked and replaced by former England manager Terry Venables. Leeds performed badly under Venables, and other players were sold to repay the loans, including Jonathan Woodgate, who Ridsdale had promised Venables would not be sold. Tensions mounted between Ridsdale and Venables, and with the team underachieving, Venables was sacked and replaced by Peter Reid. Ridsdale resigned from the Leeds board and was replaced by existing non-executive director Professor John Mackenzie. At this time Leeds were in danger of relegation, but managed to avoid the drop in the penultimate game of the season. Reid was given a permanent contract at Leeds the following summer, and brought in several players on loan. An unsuccessful start to the 2003 Euro 04 season saw Peter Reid dismissed, and Eddie Gray took over as caretaker manager until the end of the season. An insolvency specialist, Gerald Christner, led a consortium of local businessmen which took over Leeds and oversaw the sale of the club's assets, including senior and emerging youth players of any value. Leeds were relegated during the 2003 Euro 04 season. Following relegation to the Championship, assistant manager Kevin Blackwell was appointed manager. Most of the remaining players were sold or released on free transfers to further reduce the high wage bill. Blackwell was forced to rebuild almost the entire squad through free transfers, and Leeds were forced to sell both their training ground and stadium in the autumn of 2004. The board finally sold the club to Ken Bates for £10 a million. Under Blackwell, Leeds reached the Championship playoff final, which they lost to Watford. With the team performing poorly, Blackwell's contract was terminated, and Leeds hired John Carver as caretaker manager, but his spell was not a success and he was relieved of his duties with Dennis Wise eventually installed as his replacement. Wise was unable to lift the team out of the relegation zone for much of the season, despite bringing in a number of experienced loan players and free transfers on short-term deals. With relegation virtually assured, Leeds entered administration on May 4, 2007, thus incurring a league-imposed 10-point deduction which officially relegated the club to the third tier of English football. The club had previously never played any lower than the second tier of English football. The players that Wise had brought in were released. He was forced to build a squad almost from scratch, and because of administration Leeds were unable to sign any players until a few days before the opening game of the season. 2007 Euro 2010, League One. On July 3, 2007, HM Revenue and Customs lodged a legal challenge to the CVA. Under league rules, if the club were still in administration at the start of the next season, Leeds would have been prevented from starting their campaign by the Football League. Following the challenge by HMRC, the club was put up for sale by KPMG, and again Ken Bates' bid was accepted. The league eventually sanctioned this under the exceptional circumstances rule, but imposed a 15-point deduction due to the club failing to exit administration with a CVA, as the Football League rules required. On August 31, 2007 HMRC decided not to pursue their legal challenge any further. Despite the 15-point deduction, Wise and his assistant Gus Poyet guided Leeds to a playoff position, only for Poyet to leave for Tottenham, and Wise quit to take up a position at Newcastle United. Wise was replaced by former club captain Gary McAllister. Leeds went on to secure a place in the playoff final, but were beaten by Doncaster Rovers. The following season saw a poor run of results, and McAllister was sacked after a run of 5 defeats in a row. McAllister was replaced by Simon Grayson, who resigned from his post as manager of Blackpool to take the position. Under Grayson, Leeds made the playoffs once again, but were beaten over the two legs of the semi-finals by Millwall. In the 2009 Euro 10 season, Leeds secured the best start ever to a season by a Leeds side, and caused a major upset in the third round of the FA Cup by beating Manchester United at Old Trafford. After the impressive run in the FA Cup, Leeds' league form suffered, with the team taking just 7 points from a possible 24. However, the team rallied and Leeds won their final game of the season to confirm promotion to the Championship. 2010 Euro 2014, return to the Championship. Leeds spent much of the season in the playoff places, but eventually finished in a respectable 7th place a Euro, just missing out on the playoffs. In May 2011 it was announced that Leeds chairman Ken Bates had bought the club and became the owner of Leeds. Before the match against Middlesbrough, Leeds fans protested at Ken Bates about lack of investment in the playing side, in which Bates responded by calling Leeds fans morons. Despite securing promotion to the Championship, Grayson was sacked after failing to mount a consistent challenge for promotion to the Premier League. Neil Warnock was appointed as the club's new manager on February 18, with his initial contract lasting until the end of the 2012 Euro 13 season. On November 21, 2012, Middle East-based private equity group GFH Capital finalised a deal for a protracted takeover of Leeds, gaining 100% shareholding in the club. It was also announced Ken Bates would remain as chairman until the end of the 2012 Euro 13 season and then become club president. The takeover was officially completed on December 21, 2012. Despite runs to the quarter-finals of the League Cup and the fifth round of the FA Cup, Leeds' league form in the 2012 Euro 13 season was generally mediocre, with the club never making any real challenge for the playoff places, and Warnock resigned with 6 games remaining, and Leeds just 5 points above the relegation zone. Brian McDermott replaced Warnock, and the club won 3 of their final 5 games of the season, enough to avoid relegation. That summer, Bates stepped down as chairman, and ultimately left the club altogether a few weeks later following a dispute over expenses. On January 7, 2014, Leeds United's managing director David Hay was involved in Sport Capital, a consortium involving the managing director of Leeds United's main sponsors, Enterprise Insurance, Andrew Flowers. Sports Capital came close to completing a transaction with GFH Capital that would have given them a 75% stakehold in the business. On January 30, Sport Capital's takeover collapsed due to a lack of financial backing. Hay released a statement conceding that it was unable to complete a deal despite 2 months ago agreeing to purchase a 75% stake in the club from the owner's Gulf Finance house. Hay claimed he and Sport Capital had injected substantial sums into the club to ensure its viability, but earlier in the week fellow consortium member Andrew Flowers, the managing director of Leeds shirt sponsor Enterprise Insurance, stated that GFH had breached their covenant with us after inviting a rival bid from Massimo Cellino, the president of the Serie A club Cagliari Calcio. Hay's statement on his personal website read: "We, Sport Capital, signed a share acquisition agreement with GFH Capital at the end of last year. This meant, I believed, that we were in a position to move things forward and complete the transaction in time for the January transfer window. Unfortunately, however, some of the consortium's backers ultimately didn't feel able to deliver the financial backing we had hoped was agreed to take the club forward. I have met many potential investors over the past year and, sadly, while many are keen to talk the talk, they have been unable or unwilling to deliver in financial terms." On January 31, 2014, under controversial circumstances, it was reported that manager Brian McDermott had been removed from his position as the club's manager following a string of poor results while the controversy surrounding the club was resolved. Although at this time it is not known whether Cellino has formally taken over control of the club. Early reports suggest fan unrest at the decision, followed by a Sky Sports News interview with senior player and new club captain Ross McCormack where he expressed his support for the former manager. By February 3 the BBC was reporting that McDermott had been called by a lawyer representing Massimo Cellino, and told he had been relieved of his duties. However, Salino still did not own the club, as the Football League had not yet approved his purchase, so neither he, nor his lawyer, could sack the manager. McDermott, therefore, remains the current manager. After weeks of speculation regarding the purchase of Leeds United, on February 7, 2014, Leeds United had announced that they had exchanged contracts for the sale of Leeds to Salino's family consortium Elland Sport Limited. The deal sees the Salino family acquire a 75% ownership of the club subject to Football League approval. At its meeting on March 23, 2014, the board of the Football League decided unanimously that Salino's conviction by an Italian court meant that he did not meet their owners and directors test, so could not take over Leeds United. Salino has 14 days from the date of that decision in which to appeal. 2014 present, the Salino era. On April 5, Salino was successful in his appeal with independent QC Tinker to take over Leeds United. The takeover was completed on April 10 with Salino's company, Elland Sport Limited, buying 75% of the club's shares. Colours and badge. Colours. In Leeds' first 15 years the club kit was modelled on Huddersfield Town's blue and white striped shirts, white shorts and dark blue socks with blue and white rings on the turnovers, because Huddersfield's chairman Hilton Crowther was attempting to merge the two clubs. He eventually left Huddersfield to take over at Leeds. In 1934 Leeds switched to blue and yellow halved shirts incorporating the city crest, white shorts and blue socks with yellow tops. The kit was worn for the first time on September 22, 1934. The club also adopted their first badge in 1934, using the city crest as Leeds City had. In 1950 Leeds switched to yellow shirts with blue sleeves and collars, white shorts and black, blue and gold hooped socks. In 1955 Leeds changed again to royal blue shirts with gold collars, white shorts, and blue and yellow hooped socks, thus echoing the original Leeds City strip. In 1961, Don Revie introduced a plain white strip throughout, in the hope of emulating Spanish side Real Madrid. Badge. A perching owl was added the strip in 1964 as the club's emblem. The design was a surprise, given Revie's superstition about the symbolism of birds. The owl came from the city crest, which itself was based on the crest of Sir John Savile, the first alderman of Leeds. In the late 1960s and early 1970s Leeds used the LUFC script found running down the centre of the current badge, however this was presented in a diagonal fashion rather than the current vertical. In 1973 came the embodiment of 70s imagery with the iconic LU Smiley badge. Revie's predilection for gimmicks was years ahead of its time, and done with the explicit intention of gaining acceptance from a public outside West Yorkshire. In 1977 the Smiley badge was reversed from yellow with blue smiley to blue with yellow smiley, and the following year it was back to yellow but enclosed, in a circle with the words Leeds United A.F.C surrounding it. In 1978 €79, a new badge was adorned which was similar to the previous season's smiley but had the design of a peacock. In 1984, another badge was introduced, lasting until 1998, making it the longest-lived of the modern era. The rose and ball badge was distinctive, in the traditional blue, gold and white, incorporating the White Rose of York, together with the club's name. In the 1998-99 season, the current badge was officially adopted, with some modifications of the latter such as it again featured the White Rose of York and was blue, gold and white in colour, reading LUFC vertically down the centre. Kit sponsors and manufacturers. Stadium. Leeds United have only ever used one stadium as their home ground, Elland Road, where they have played since foundation in 1919. An all-seater football stadium situated in the Beeston, Leeds, West Yorkshire, England. It is the 12th largest football stadium in England, and the second largest ground outside the Premier League. Elland Road was previously occupied by their predecessors, Leeds City, before their disbanding. After their formation, the council allowed them to rent the stadium until they could afford to buy it. With the exception of periods from the 1960s until 1983, and from 1997 to 2004, the council has owned the stadium. However, It was sold by the club in October 2004, with a 25-year sale-leaseback deal being agreed, with a commercial buyback clause was also included for when the club's finances improve. Initially the ground was the home of the Hogbeck Rugby Club, who played in the Northern Rugby Union, the forerunner of the Rugby Football League. One of Leeds' first nicknames, the Peacocks, comes from the original name of Elland Road, the Old Peacock Ground. It was named by the original owners of the ground, Bentley's Brewery, after their pub the Old Peacock, which still faces the site. Then, new-formed Leeds City agreed to rent and later own Elland Road. After their disbanding, it was sold to Leeds United. The most recent stand at Elland Road is the East or Family Stand, a cantilever structure completed during the 1992-93 season, and which can hold 17,000 seated spectators. It is a two-tiered stand which continues around the corners, and is the largest part of the stadium. The Don Revie stand was opened at the start of the 1994-95 season, and can hold just under 7,000 seated spectators. The roof of the West Stand holds a television commentary gantry and walkway for TV personnel. Elland Road was named in December 2009 as one of the contenders for the England 2018 World Cup bid. As a result of the bid, Leeds have drawn up plans to redevelop parts of Elland Road and increase the capacity of the stadium. Ken Bates also revealed plans to take out the executive boxes out of the South Stand to increase the starting capacity by a further to €3,000. More executive boxes would be built in the East Stand. Alex Ferguson has said that Elland Road has one of the most intimidating atmospheres in European football. Supporters, Peter Reid commented after being relieved of his managerial duties at Elland Road that in 30 years I've never seen support like I did at the Arsenal game at Elland Road a couple of weeks ago. The fans at Leeds are fantastic. Reid was also joined by two other previous managers on the eve of Leeds' first appearance in the third tier. Reid said that the support is fantastic and incredible. Blackwell said fans will follow them everywhere, and O'Leary commented there is an immense fan base and they are still with the club. The supporters are renowned for singing the signature song Marching On Together during matches. Other notable songs Leeds fans sing during games are We Are the Champions, Champions of Europe, in reference to the 1975 European Cup final which Leeds lost due to dubious refereeing decisions. Leeds United fans also have a salute which is known as the Leeds Salute. Leeds are 10th in the all-time average attendance figures for the Football League and Premier League. They have the third most rivalries in the English League and were, allegedly, the most hated club in English football as of the start of the 2008-09 season. Rivalries. Leeds United have rivalries with several clubs, including Manchester United, Chelsea and Millwall. A rivalry with Turkish club Galatasaray was created after two Leeds fans were murdered by Galatasaray supporters before a UEFA Cup fixture in April 2000. When former Leeds player Harry Quell moved to Galatasaray in 2008, it caused uproar with Leeds supporters. Media. Leeds United owned their own radio station, Yorkshire Radio, which broadcast on DAB digital radio and LUTV, before being closed in July 2013 by new owners GFH Capital, after outgoing president Ken Bates left the club. LUTV is the club's own internet television channel, and is available to watch online via a subscription service. It features a daily news program, player and staff interviews, match highlights and live commentary of all Leeds matches by Vaughan Cohen and former player and manager Eddie Gray. Alternative commentary is broadcast on BBC Radio Leeds by Adam Pope. The club also published their own magazine Leeds, which was first produced in 1998. In recent years, the magazine was taken out of circulation in newsagents and supermarkets, and so was only available to official club members by mail or by purchase in the official club shop. The magazine ceased publication in 2011. After the takeover by GFH Capital, Leeds introduced a Leeds United official Twitter feed to help interact via social media. Since taking charge, GFH Capital also expanded the club's Facebook page and introduced Instagram accounts and further official Twitter pages for commercial ventures. The club also rebranded and redesigned the official club website in August 2013 with an integrated LUTV facility within the website design. Music. In April 1972 the Leeds squad released a single, Leeds United, with the B-side being Leeds. 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 It was issued to coincide with the team reaching the 1972 FA Cup final. The vocals on the original recording were by the Leeds team. The record reached number 10 in the UK singles chart. After Leeds' promotion back to the Championship in May 2010, the song was digitally remastered and re-released in an effort to get the song into the UK singles chart. By 4 p.m. on Monday, the song was already sitting 8th in the iTunes Store charts and top of both the Amazon.com and Play.com singles charts. On the official chart company's official chart update, the song charted at 10 and was the highest new entry apart from B.O.B.'s Nothing on You. Whilst it is not officially the club anthem, Marching On Together is played before every home game. Unlike many football songs that are just new words set to existing music, Leeds 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 is an original composition by Les Reed and Barry Mason, purposely written for Leeds United. For many years, Strings for Yasmin by Tin Tin Art was played before kick-off at Elland Road. It was replaced in the 2008 Euro 09 season with Eye of the Tiger by Survivor and in the 2009 Euro 10 season with Dance of the Nights, composed by Sergei Prokofiev. Nightmare by Brainbook is currently played before the start of the second half. Players, current squad, as of July 9, 2014. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Out on loan, note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Retired number, 17. On May 15, 2014, Leeds United retired the number 17 shirt due to superstitious reasons for owner Massimo Cellino. Up until June 2014 the last occupant of the shirt had been Michael Brown. Development squad and youth team. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Notable players. First team coaching staff. Backroom staff, club officials, last updated, May 2, 2013, source, Leeds United Season Official Handbook 2012/13, Academy staff. Other staff. League history, club honours, domestic competition, league titles. First Division, winners 1968 Euro 69, 1973 Euro 74, 1991 Euro 92, runners-up 1964 Euro 65, 1965 Euro 66, 1969 Euro 70, 1970 Euro 71, 1971 Euro 72. Second Division, winners 1923 Euro 24, 1963 Euro 64, 1989 Euro 90, runners-up 1927 Euro 28, 1931 Euro 32. 1955 Euro 56, Football League 1, runners-up 2009 Euro 10, Football League playoffs, Second Division playoff final, runners-up 1986 Euro 87, Championship playoff final, runners-up 2005 Euro 06, League 1 playoff final, runners-up 2007 Euro 08, Cups, FA Cup, winners 1972, runners-up 1965, 1970, 1973 League Cup, winners 1968, runners-up 1996, FA Charity Shield, winners 1969. 1992, runners-up 1974, FA Youth Cup, winners 1993, 1997, European Competition, European Cup, runners-up 1975, Cup Winners' Cup, runners-up 1973, Inter-Cities Fairs Cup UEFA Cup, winners 1968, 1971, runners-up 1967, Inter-Cities Fairs Cup Euro the playoff, runners-up 1971, unofficial competition, the Central League, winners 1936 Euro 37, 1997 Euro 98, East Division Central League, Winners 2008 a Euro 09. 2009 a Euro 10. Personnel honours. English Football Hall of Fame. The following have either played for or managed Leeds and have been inducted into the English Football Hall of Fame. Scottish Football Hall of Fame. The following have either played for or managed Leeds and have been inducted into the Scottish Football Hall of Fame. Welsh Sports Hall of Fame. The following have played for Leeds and have been inducted into the Welsh Sports Hall of Fame. European Hall of Fame. The following have played for Leeds and have been inducted into the European Hall of Fame. Football League 100 Legends. The following have played for Leeds and were included in the Football League 100 Legends: Sir FWA Player of the Year, PFA Players Player of the Year, PFA Young Player of the Year, PFA Team of the Year, Football League Awards, Goal of the Season. The following have won the Goal of the Season award whilst playing for Leeds: Sir, 1993 a Euro 94 Rod Wallace, 1995 a Euro 96 Tony Yeboah, Premier League Golden Boot. The following have won the Golden Boot award whilst playing for Leeds: Sir, 1998 a Euro 99 Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. In popular culture, The Damned UTD a Euro a fictional best-selling novel by David Peace based on Brian Clough's tenure as manager of Leeds United. The Damned United a Euro a 2009 film based on the above novel. The Penalty King a Euro a 2006 film about a Leeds United fan who goes blind after an accident and uses the legend of Billy Bremner as inspiration to take up football again. Leeds United a Euro a song by Amanda Palmer. Painted White, Following Leeds Everywhere and Leeds United, the second coat a Euro best-selling books by Gary Edwards, a man who has missed only one game, including friendlies, since he started watching Leeds United in 1968. English, Own Goal a Euro a BBC schools drama set in and around Elland Road based around a group of children who tackle criminals forging fake shirts and tickets. Since the club's dramatic demise in the 2000s, the phrase doing a Leeds has entered English football terminology to refer to the potential pitfalls faced by any club due to overspending or failing to qualify for the UEFA Champions League. See also: Football in Yorkshire, Sport in Leeds, Square Ball a Euro a Leeds United fanzine, references. External links: Leeds United A.F.C. On BBC Sport, Club News a Euro recent results a Euro upcoming fixtures a Euro club statistics, official website, Sky Sports, Soxerbase, Eastern Soxernet, Leeds fans, Leeds UTD mad, marching on together, Loiners of Leeds United a complete list of all Leeds-born Leeds UTD players. Leeds United books a bibliography of publications related to Leeds United.